Alright, this is where we left off last time, and remember we went ahead and we changed these input around so that we could use the type of rock inside the amount of tons thing. I'm not expecting you necessarily do that in your assignments, but I found in the past that students wanted to do it, so I'm showing you how. But you have to use parse int whenever you're going to be using an accumulator with values coming in from an input box, because again the prompt is text. So you have to change it to binary before you can use it with an accumulator. So this all worked fine, but the problem is it's not right. Now it did follow our flowchart because we said if type of rock is coarse, then we do this. The problem is we have three different things, and we know from the rule of thumb is if we have more than two things that we're comparing, that would be an if else, then we're going to have to do error checking and we're going to need to use a switch. So we're going to go ahead and change this now to switch rather than using the if then if else if else if. So all I need to do is get rid of if and type in switch. Alright, so it's going to be switch type of rock. I'll just go ahead and grab this parenthesis and put it in there. Okay, I'm going to still use this brace right here, but this brace now is going to have a comment of start switch, and this down here is going to have a comment of stop switch. Alright, and then inside here I'm going to be using this. We're not going to use equal anymore. It's another nice thing about switch is I'm going to take this quartz and we're going to move it down. So when we get to this part right here, we're going to say okay, we're going to say case, and then now we're going to be using that quartz. So I'm simply going to drag it down, and we end it with a colon. So that's the only time we use colons in our code is at the end of a case. So then we're going to do this, and I'll go ahead and add a couple spaces to move it over. And then the last thing we have to do is let it know that we're done, and we use break for that. Excellent. Alright, so now we just have to repeat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, paste it down under here, and then everywhere it says quartz, so let's go back to our problem statement. Every place it says quartz, I'm going to change that to marble. So I'm going to go ahead and copy marble out of here, go back to my code, and it's going to be case marble, marble accum, marble accum, marble accum, marble rate, marble tons, marble accum, and then the last two that we have, there's quartz there, and that's going to be marble, is down here it's money quartz. I'm going to change that to money marble, and I have to make that a capital M, and then I'll copy capital M marble and paste it in here. And before that I should have also went up here. So down right now, since we're going to be testing marble, we're going to go ahead and use marble as our default value. It makes our life a little easier. And then we're going to see if this works. And I'm going to go ahead and save it. Come on. And then I'm going to preview it. So there's marble 10. Amount of tons marble is 10. That's exactly what we want. And then it's 1,500 each, so that's good. And let me go ahead and turn down my volume. Geez, I'll be okay. And then it's going to say yes. So we have to test it one more time. So we're going to say yes, marble 10. Now we got 20, so we know the accumulator is working correctly. And 30,000, which means we know that's working. We say no, and then we're done looping. All right, so now we're going to do the same thing for granite, but I'm going to pause and do it real quick. Okay, so I just did the same thing I did with the marble. I copy and pasted it down here. I copied granite, put it here, and then pasted it here, 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 here. Uh-oh, I missed one. So good thing I'm checking. Okay, and then here, 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 here. So since everything now should work perfectly, I'll preview it again after saving it. This is granite, 10, 10, 20, yes, granite, 10. Now I got 20 granite, 40,000. Everything's working perfect. And again, building and testing is what we want to make sure that we do continuously. So the next thing we're going to do is our error checking and error trapping. Come on now. This doesn't go away. All right, so now that I'm going to go ahead and use my default case. Again, we're going to have at the end of that break. And inside there, we're going to have two things. One is we're going to have the alert. That's going to let them know a problem has occurred. Next is I'm going to change my error flag to 1. Now, another issue I have is I have never declared error flag. This is the first time I'm using it. So I'm going to copy that and move up to the very top. I'm going to leave my another truck equals yes at the bottom, but I'm going to go ahead and add another var, and not error flag equals 1, I'm going to make error flag equals 0, because remember in our flowchart we didn't have to do that, but we have to do that in our code, because it's, other than that it'll be null. Alright, so now that we have that, now we can go ahead and, well, we have to also get that error message, so let's go ahead back into our flowchart. And all I'm going to do is grab this, copy it, and paste it into my alert. And now I know that should work perfectly. Alright, so now we're ready for the last part of this. And that is, well, there's my stop switch. So that's the last thing that we're going to do there. Then we have our another truck, and that is what's going to stop our done looping. Alright, so now we're going to test it again, this time to see if our default works. So instead of granite, I'll put in dog. It says 10. Okay, so you typed in dog, you should have typed in course of marble, so we know that's working, and I'm going to say no, and we're done looping. Alright, so everything is working perfect now. Now, the other problem we have is that, well, we have one more piece of math to do, and that is our total. So let's go back into here. Okay, we have this assignment to do right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to do that and test that after we do our error checking and error trapping. Move this up a little bit. All right, so we're going to get rid of done looping. We don't need that anymore. And now we're going to do our last math. So after our loop, we want to do that math. And we're going to leave some room because we're going to want to do some other things before that also. And then we want to have a document write, and that document write is going to be for our total money. So again, I'm going to move over here where we've already tested it. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to paste that into my code. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and save this and test it one last time before we start doing our final code for this. We're not going to finish it in this video. So I'm going to preview it. Okay, we'll do granite again. Granite 20, 20,000. We're going to say, is there another one? We're going to say yes. Let's see, let's do marble 10. Number is 10. Amount of money for marbles is 1,500. Then we're going to say no, and it should tell us now that the total amount is NAN. All right, so we want to fix that. Not a number. If we go back over here, what it's telling me is that when I try to add these three together, one of these is not a number. Can you guess which one it is? Quartz. And why is that? That's because we tested marble, we tested granite, but we didn't test quartz. And we can say, okay, well, next time we'll make sure we test all three. But what happens if a contractor doesn't get any quartz? Well, that means what we're going to have to do is these three here actually have to start with a 0 in it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy all of this. Actually, I'm going to cut it. Then I'm going to move this total money up. And these are the only three that are going to be blank. Then I'm going to come over here and paste in what I copied. So it's going to be var money quartz equals 0. All right, and then that's going to be semicolon. And then var money marble equals 0. Semicolon. And then var money granite equals 0. All right, so now if all they do is get granite, then it doesn't make a difference. So let's go ahead and make sure that everything works before we finish up this video. So I'm going to do the same thing I did last time. I'm going to say granite 10. All right, so that's granite. That's working. I'm going to say yes. Then I'm going to type in marble. 10. Okay, that's working. And then I'm going to say no and not do quartz. So you can see it is working perfectly as far as 15,000 and 20,000. So all our math is working. We don't get that NAN, and that's because when we get down here to start doing this bottom math, now there's a 0. Where is it? Now there's a 0 in money quartz, so now I can go ahead and add that together. All right, when we finish, we're going to finish up this in our next video.